So the reason you're not getting what you want might actually be because you want it too much. And I know that sounds strange because most people think that if you really want something, you should think about it all the time, work on it all the time, affirm it, and obsess over it until it happens. But that is exactly where things start going wrong, because the moment your desire turns into desperation, your entire energy changes. You stop attracting from trust and start chasing it from fear. And that energy is exactly what repels the thing that you're trying so hard to achieve. So, if you've ever felt, why is it not happening yet? I'm doing everything right. I'm affirming, I'm visualizing, I'm taking actions. So, why do I still feel stuck? And the thing is that you don't just want the desire, you emotionally need it to happen in order to feel okay. And the moment your peace starts depending on the outcome, you no longer are in alignment. You start living in survival mode. So desperation feels like pressure. The pressure to make it happen, the pressure for it to happen soon, the pressure for it to um, work out exactly like you imagined. And when you are in pressure, you become anxious. You overthink. You check for signs. You keep looking for movement. You keep asking, "Is it coming? When is it going to happen?" And that entire energy, even when I'm saying it, it sounds heavy. And it's like standing at a door of your desires and banging it, every 5 minutes, asking, "Are you here yet? When are you going to happen? When are you going to come?" And that is not faith. Um, it is fear wearing kind of a spiritual, cover. And a lot of people don't realize this because on the surface they think that they've become committed and it feels like you're putting in the work, you're doing what needs to be done. But energetically, what they're really communicating is that I don't trust the timing, I don't trust that I can have it, I don't trust life unless I can, see my desire in 3D and I can control the timing of when it happens. And it all comes from an ego driven place. The second thing is that this neediness comes from a lack of faith. At the root of this desperation, it is usually one thing, that you don't have faith that you will actually get it. Not just the faith in where it's going to come from, but also faith in yourself, faith that you are capable of receiving, faith that what is meant for you can reach you, and faith that life is not over with just this one thing not happening. Because when you truly trust that your energy and your overall being is not dependent on this, your whole vibe kind of softens. You still desire it, you still care, you still show up, but you're no longer gripping it so tightly that you suffocate the process. And this is where most people start struggling. They think that letting go means not caring, but that's not true. Letting go means that you're releasing this fear around the outcome. It means saying that, yes, I wanted, yes, I'm available for this, yes, I'm going to move towards it, but I'm not going to collapse it if it takes times, and I'm not going to lose myself if it doesn't happen exactly the way I planned. And that is where true power really comes from. And I have in my own journey seen that the breakthrough is when you're okay either way. That is where the real shift is. Things start changing when you become okay with things not working out, not because you've given up, but because you've stopped making this desire your emotional oxygen. You've stopped saying, "I need this to happen so I can finally feel secure. I need this relationship so I feel chosen and loved. I need this money so I can finally relax. I need this opportunity so I can believe in myself," because that is too much pressure to put on just one thing. And ironically, when you release that pressure, you become lighter, you become clearer, you just feel more magnetic, more present, more open. And that is when the movement around things actually starts. because now your overall vibe and energy kind of says that I want it, but I do not fear life without it. I trust that what is mine will come to me. I trust myself to be okay with no matter what happens, and that kind of energy is deeply attractive. um it's like, if you've heard the watch pot theory. um you know how when you keep staring at a pot and it feels like the water is taking forever to boil, but the second you look away and do something else, suddenly it's boiling over. And that is exactly how manifestation feels sometimes. The moment you stare at your desire with stress, urgency, and this kind of need for it to happen, the more delayed everything feels. But when you take your eyes off the timeline, when you stop forcing, when you return to your life, you feel peaceful. There is sort of this trust in knowing that it'll happen. Things start shifting, not because you stopped caring, but because you start strangling the process with fear. So what do you do instead? You still take action, you still show up for your goals, you still affirm, you still visualize, you work on yourself, you move towards what you want, but you do all of that without this sense of panic and fear, without this whole energy of this has to happen right now or things will fall apart. You replace that desperation with grounded expectancy. You replace pressure with trust. The most importantly, you practice emotional steadiness and safety and groundedness, and you remind yourself that even if it takes time, it'll be okay. Even if it comes differently than how I want it to come or how I expect it to come, it's fine. Even if the doors close on this one, life is still working out in my favor, and I do not have to chase what truly is meant for me from a place of fear. That is when you stop resisting life and start flowing with it. So, in closing, what I'd want to say is that if your manifestation feels stuck, ask yourself honestly, do I desire this, or have I made myself emotionally dependent on this? Because desire is natural, but desperation is what creates resistance. And sometimes the fastest way to receive is to stop gripping it so tightly. You can want it, you can work towards it, you can believe in it, but also know that you will be okay either way. And that energy of peace and trust and non-attachment, that is often the exact thing that is needed to begin seeing a movement around